It stayed silent for what seemed like an eternity. Luna was still hugging Lincoln tightly, Lori staring with concern, and Lincoln burying his head into the crook of his own sister's neck. It seemed like the fear that Lincoln was starting to overcome was slowly reigniting. Luna knew that she didn't mean to scare Lincoln, and it appeared that Lincoln didn't want to hold any anger towards her, but she still felt horrible for scaring her brother, when he was literally in a broken state. Lori didn't know whether to scold her sister or comfort her brother. Maybe she could do both. She knew Luna didn't mean to scare her brother and was only playing around, but she knew very well the state Lincoln was in and would have thought twice before acting. She understood what Luna was trying to do, trying to lighten the mood and maybe try to get him to laugh a little, but she may have already just made things worse and did one show thing for Lincoln. He was still very volatile, even joking around, like how Luna did, and could send Lincoln into a downward spiral of fear and completely shut him down. Lori needed to make sure her and Luna were on the same page about this, so it can't happen again. From what Lori could gather, it didn't seem like Lincoln was scared too bad, but just imagine if it was Lynn trying to wrestle with him, or Lucy snuck up behind him. She needed to get a handle of this and fast. "Hey, Luna," Lori called out for her sister. Luna looked up at Lori. "Yes, sis?" Luna asked. "Could you meet me in the kitchen for a second?" Lori requested. Luna then looked down at Lincoln, then back at Lori. "Do you think it could wait until morning?" Luna asked. "It will only take a few minutes, I promise," Lori exclaimed. Luna was still confused, but Lori seemed very insistent in speaking with her. "Okay, Lori, I'll meet you there in a sec," Luna responded. "Okay, this won't take long, I promise," Lori responded, then headed off to the kitchen. Luna then looked down at Lincoln, who was still holding on to her tight. "Hey, Lincoln, I know you're probably shaken up, but sis really needs to talk to me. Is it okay if I step away for a quick sec? I'll be right back, dude, I promise," Luna explained. Lincoln then looked up from his embrace. "Yeah, I'll be okay," Lincoln responded. Luna moved her hand up and down and caressed his cheek. "You sure, bro?" Luna asked. Lincoln leaned up to Luna's hand. He really didn't want her, or Lori for that matter, to leave him alone, but he knew that it wouldn't be for long until they both returned soon. "Yeah, I'll be okay," Lincoln answered, with a sad smile. Lincoln gave Luna one last squeeze, hug, before finally releasing her. Luna, who still had her hand on her brother's cheek, gave him one last smile before removing her hand, walking towards the kitchen. Luna was moving as fast as she could, without trying to make too much noise, to meet up with her sister to where what seemed to be so important that she had to leave their brother on his own. Though she did have a feeling she knew what Lori wanted to talk about. When Luna finally reached the kitchen, she saw Lori leaning against the fridge, with her head directed to the floor, waiting for her sister's arrival. Luna didn't need to see Lori's face to know she probably wasn't very happy, but after a small mishap Lincoln only a few minutes earlier, Luna couldn't blame her sister for being upset. Luna stopped in the middle of the kitchen. "Hey, Lori, what do you wanted to talk about?" Luna asked her sister. Lori pushed herself off the fridge and made her way towards Luna, with her head still pointed slightly towards the floor. She then noticed Luna's feet and shot her up as quickly as she could. "Okay, Luna, just what the hell were you literally thinking?" Lori said, fumblingly asked. Luna was expecting Lori to snap at her for scaring Lincoln, but didn't really want to keep her from slightly scared when Lori snapped at her. Once Luna got over her internal shock, she lowered her head down slightly. I just thought I could lighten up the mood a little and cheer Link up," Luna explained. "Okay, but it did occur to me that maybe he was still shaken up after what he went through today, and that maybe you shouldn't have pushed any boundaries," Lori fumed. I guess I didn't," Luna admitted, rubbing her arm. "And because of that, Link is terrified and potentially back to where he was started before. He spoke to us, shut down and closed off to everyone," Lori explained. "I didn't mean to, sis. Honest, I didn't mean to," Luna exclaimed. "Well, you did," Lori pointed out. "I know," Luna acknowledged. Lori didn't go into this conversation with her sister intention to make Luna feel as bad as she did. But sometimes we let our emotions get the better of us and cause to take more damage than we intended to our cause damage. We didn't have any intentions of causing. Once Lori was able to calm down and recompose herself, she noticed that Luna still had her head down, and Lori was able to make out a faint sound. Was Luna crying? Well, now the situation went from bad to worse. Instead of having one sibling upset, now Lori had to deal with two siblings who were in the wrecked state. One of them, which caused Lori lowered her head then she on the ground for making her sister cry. She was so mad, but Luna didn't mean to scare Lincoln. It was only trying to have fun. Looks like a big sister's job is never done. Lori walked over and wrapped her arms around Luna. Luna, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you cry, Lori apologized. Luna opened her arms and then returned the hug her older sister was giving her. I'm sorry, Lori. I didn't mean to scare him, Luna apologized as she buried her head in Lori's shoulder. I just want to cheer him up, Luna continued. I know, Luna, and I'm sorry I went off on you like that. I just saw Red when you told me you scared him. He's been through so much today, and I still can't get over what that monster did to him, Lori expressed. Luna then looked up at her sister. Why did it have to happen to him, Lori? Why did it have to happen to our baby bro? Luna asked through her sobs. Lori then looked down at her sister. I don't know, Luna. I wished it never happened. But one thing I do know is that she will pay for what she has done to him, Lori answered with determination. Luna gave her sister a sad but hopeful look. Yeah, she will, Luna expressed. Luna buried her head over back and forth to Lori's shoulder and hugged a little tighter, even though she didn't show it very often. Luna had a very emotional side when she was ready to let it out. So she let it out. I've got you, Luna, Lori reassured her sister. Luna looked back up at Lori. Thanks, sis. I love you, Luna responded. Lori gave Luna a soft smile. I love you too, sis, Lori retorted. Hey, I'm not that much younger than you, dude, Luna responded with a small laugh. You're still younger, which makes you my little sis, Lori explained. It looked like Lori was able to wrangle her in, and Luna's emotions for now, but they couldn't guarantee how they were still able to contain them when Lincoln finally told everyone about what happened to him in the morning. That could be a problem for the morning, though. For tonight, they still had to take care of their brother and make sure he was able to make it through the night without suffering from any more trauma than he already has. They had a feeling it was going to be a rough night, but both girls were determined to make sure that Lincoln knew that he was going to be protected tonight and nothing else would hurt him, now or ever. The two girls finally broke from their embrace and they gave each other one last smile and made their way back to the living room, where their brother was waiting for them. Once Luna and Lori made it back to the living room, they saw that Lincoln was lying down on the couch, fast asleep. Either they were taking too longer than they had thought they were, or Lincoln was more exhausted than they thought. Either way, Lincoln was asleep, and it was about time Luna and Lori got some sleep. So without wasting any more time, Luna picked up Lincoln and carried him to the air mattress and placed him on the mattress, while Lori covered him up with blankets and his blankets that she brought down earlier. Kinda cute when she sleeps, isn't he, sis? Luna asked Lori. I'm the oldest. All my siblings are cute to me when they're sleeping, Lori responded. Luna then turned and gave her sister a curious smile. How often do you watch us sleep, sis? Luna asked while crossing arms. Lori then turned to Luna and gave a soft smile. When you have 10 younger siblings, you're always worried about them when checking on them. I may not be your mother, but that does not mean I don't worry about each of every one of you like mother would. But I do check in on you guys when I can, which means yes, even when you're sleeping, Lori answered. Luna unfolded her arms and looked back towards Lincoln. I know what you mean, sis, and when Lincoln told me what happened to him, something clicked in my head and all I wanted to do was protect him, Luna responded. Lori walked over and placed a hand on Luna's shoulder. Welcome to the world of being a big sister, and that feeling never goes away, but it's a good feeling, Lori assured. Luna then looked up at her sister with a smile. You're right, sis. It is a good feeling, Luna responded. Lori then removed her hand from Luna's shoulder and then walked over to the lamp in the living room and turned out the light. "I think it's time we fall asleep and get some sleep, Luna," Lori expressed. Luna then walked over to the side of Lincoln. "Couldn't agree more, sis. Let's hit the sack," Luna said, as she lifted off the blankets and lied down in the air mattress next to her brother. Lori then walked over to Lincoln's right side, lifted the blankets, and laid down next to her brother. "Good night, Luna, and good night, Lincoln. I love you," Lori said, as she leaned over and gently kissed Lincoln's forehead. "And night, Lori, and good night, Lincoln. I love you more," Luna said, as she leaned in and gently kissed Lincoln's forehead. "Really?" Lori asked, Luna's obvious attempt to try and get under her skin. "I only speak the truth, sis," Luna answered with a mischievous smile. Lori rolled around facing both from her siblings. "Bitch." Lori playfully insulted her sister with a small laugh. Luna rolled over and faced away from her siblings as well. "Love you too, Lori," Luna responded, flipping Lori off. If you were to walk and see every image of the three siblings in peaceful slumber, you'd think that they were carefree kids who weren't even worried about anything, and nothing could bother them. But that was far from the truth. All three of them were strong-willed, but were suffering eternally over one of the worst tragedies that has ever fallen in the Loud family, and they were all still trying to process everything that has happened. Their only goal was to get the decent night's sleep, so they could be well rested for the events that would take place tomorrow. Revealing it to the rest of the family has happened, and filing a report with the police, two things sound so simple. It would yet take more than energy for them to have. Lincoln was struggling with it the most, and it was hard enough telling his parents and two of his older sisters. He was terrified of telling the 7 others. Lily obviously would be too young to know what was going on, but she figured that she'd be able to pick it up on everyone else's emotions and reactions. The last thing Lincoln wanted to have was all of these images and the feeling left after his encounter with his teacher wiped from his brain and never think about it again. But the only thing he could do at work in the past was regaining everything his teacher had stole for him. Most of it can preoccupy their minds with a good night's sleep and think about something else. But sometimes our minds have other plans. From what it seems like, torture us until we just want to give up. Just ask Lincoln. Lincoln opened his eyes in a dark, empty room. "Huh? Where am I?" Lincoln asked himself. "Oh, you're in a special place," a sinister voice said from behind Lincoln. Lincoln turned around as quickly as possible. Who's there?" Lincoln timidly asked. "Oh, me? I'm just a friend, Lincoln. A very special friend," the voice answered. How do you know my name?" Lincoln demanded. "Like I said, Lincoln, I'm a friend. I know more than just your last name. I know how old you are, how many sisters you are, and even where you live," the voice answered with a menacing tone. Lincoln's eyes opened wide. "How?" Lincoln asked in a very scared tone. "I'm told you. I'm a special friend," the voice answered. Lincoln began backing away from where the voice was coming from. Please just leave me alone," Lincoln pleaded. Footsteps started to sound in the room. "Oh, I would never hurt you, Lincoln. I only want to take care of you," the voice answered. Lincoln continued to back away until he bumped into a figure. "Who are you?" Lincoln asked, as he looked up to see who or what he bumped into. The figure lowered its head from the shadows. "I'm the one who loves you most, Lincoln," the figure responded. Lincoln's eyes started to swell up with tears. "Please, no more. Just leave me alone," Lincoln begged. The figure grabbed Lincoln by the arms and get closer. "We're going to have some more fun, just like we did earlier," the figure responded. Lincoln tried to pull away. "No, please, Miss Johnson," Lincoln pleaded with his teacher. Miss Johnson dragged Lincoln into a darkness of the room. "You'll love what I have in store for you, Lincoln," his teacher responded with a sinister smile. "No, don't do it again," Lincoln begged. "We'll have fun, just like last time," Miss Johnson responded, ignoring Lincoln's plea for mercy. No! Lincoln yelled out. "No!" Lincoln yelled out as he snapped out of his nightmare and sat up. Lincoln had broken out in the sweat and started frantically looking around the room. It was just a dream? Lincoln asked himself. When it finally sank in that everything Lincoln had just gone through was a nightmare, he hugged his knees and chest and started sobbing. When will it end? Lincoln asked out loud. It hadn't been full 24 hours since Lincoln had already suffered 2 night terrors, and from the looks of it, it didn't appear to be moving past what happened would be an easy task. Lincoln was starting to think that he couldn't even be up for the task. This wasn't something that everyone experiences. This wasn't something that everyone could understand, and this wasn't something that everyone knew how to deal with. It was one experience that almost seems impossible to overcome and regain your peace of mind. Who are you as a person? So you can't stop feeling like the victim and become the strong person you were before everything happened. Almost impossible, but not entirely impossible. The one thing Lincoln needed to remember was that he had people around him that were going to help him get through this and get the help and regain who he once was. There was a whole house full of people, as well as a neighborhood full of people, have his back, and everything will always be there for him. Something he will soon be reminded of. Lincoln hugged his knees tighter to his body. I just want this to be over, Lincoln then said to himself between sobs. It will be, Lincoln, a voice answered from behind Lincoln. Lincoln looked up and turned around to see his sister Luna sitting up. Luna, how long have you been awake? Lincoln asked while wiping his eyes. Long enough. You had a nightmare, bro, Luna answered as she moved closer to her brother. I'm sorry if I woke you up, Lincoln apologized. Luna then placed her hands on her brother's shoulders. You have nothing to apologize, dude. You were scared and needed help. I'm here through you and will do anything to help protect you. Always and forever, Luna responded. Lincoln then looked up with tears still streaming down his face. Thank you, Luna. I love you, Lincoln responded. Luna smiled softly. I love you too, bro, Luna responded as she wrapped her arms around Lincoln and pulled him into a tight hug. Luna started gently rocking Lincoln and softly humming in hopes that she'd be able to calm him down, something she was used to do for him when he was younger, and it always seemed to work. Luna didn't think it was possible for her heart to break any more than it already did, but life tends to humor on beating us down when we're at our lowest and think we just couldn't go any lower. Things can always go from bad to worse. All Luna could really do was take all of Lincoln's pain away, so he could go back to being her happy, fun, and loving baby brother instead of a broken and scared child that the monster turned him into. All Lincoln knew right now was how to be afraid. He was terrified to tell everyone about what happened. He was terrified to go to the police. He was terrified to go outside. He was even terrified of even to fall asleep. His teacher had already taken everything from him, but he would all get it back with the help of his family and his willingness to become his old self again. Would he be back to normal? That was a guarantee. Luna then lowered her head to Lincoln's ear. I know you're probably still scared, bro, but you think you might be able to get some sleep? Luna asked. Lincoln looked up at his sister. Yes, please, but please don't let go, Lincoln begged Luna. Luna looked at Lincoln in the eyes. I won't. Not now, not ever, Luna promised. Lincoln then buried his hand in the crook of Luna's neck. I love you, sis, Lincoln responded. Luna slowly started to fall on her back, taking Lincoln with her. I love you too, Lincoln, Luna responded after giving Lincoln a kiss on the forehead. It didn't take long for either the sibling to fall asleep. Luna was still exhausted from everything that had transpired today, and in Lincoln's case, he just wanted to be able to not think about his teacher or what he had done for him. All he wanted to do was be at peace of his mind and looked like for some help. Luna, once again, Lincoln was only going to get peace of mind, and it looked like it would be impossible. But Lincoln would finally be able to fall asleep without experiencing any nightmares for the rest of the night. If he was lucky, he would get a dream about anything. Most 11-year-old kids would be embarrassed about being seen occupying the same bed with their older siblings. But right now, Lincoln didn't care about the embarrassment or of what anyone would think of him. All he wanted to do was to feel safe, and right now he was wrapped in Luna's arms. He felt safer than he had been, and he had faced his first test of embarrassment when he woke up, though. He wasn't really ashamed of his decision to stay the night with his sisters, but that doesn't mean they weren't others who would try and make them feel that way, even if they were joking around. Normally, Lori was the first one up in the morning, mainly to make sure her siblings were also awake and getting ready for school. But because it was Saturday, a different Loud child was the first to wake up this morning, Lynn Loud Jr., the most athletic and outgoing member of the Loud family, and was about the first out of the Loud children to wake up on this Saturday morning. And unfortunately for Lincoln, was making her way down the stairs in the living room. Lynn was used to being an early bird, like most athletics. Lynn trained whenever she got the chance. In the morning before school, and after school, and throughout the day, even on the weekends. And Lynn's goal in the morning was to check for some updated scores from any games that she had missed throughout the week, and then go on her morning run like usual. But this morning all she could met was an unfamiliar sight. Alright, gotta check on my teams and then go get some cardio and a shower before breakfast, Lynn said to herself as she made her way down the stairs. Alright, boys, let's see how you did. Lynn then trailed off as she reached to the bottom of the stairs and noticed the sleeping situation Lincoln, Lori, and Luna had set up the night before. Why are they down here? And is Luna hugging Lincoln? Lynn asked herself as she walked over to the sleeping trio. Seeing the trio sleeping in the living room made Lynn ponder on why they would be down here. But it wasn't so long into pondering mischievous grin crept on her face. Lynn was notorious for giving her siblings a hard time, and she had to ease up on them over time. When she saw the opportunity to do so, she couldn't resist getting a rise out of them. Unfortunately for Luna, Lincoln, and Lori, they were in the perfect position for a good-natured teasing from Lynn, something that she would have thought twice before doing. Oh, this is so good, Lynn stated as she pulled out her phone out from her pocket and opened the camera app. Snap. Lynn then took a picture of the sleeping trio, purposely with the flash on, and waited for one of the sleeping siblings to stir and eventually wake up from their slumber. Fortunately for her, she didn't have to wait long. Not after 5 seconds after taking the picture of her siblings, Lynn noticed Lori beginning to move and eventually opened and rubbed her eyes to see her younger sister, Lynn, standing over her, and Luna with Lincoln on her phone out. Lori may have been still feeling the effects of her deep slumber had on her, but she was lucid enough to wonder why Lynn was downstairs with her phone aimed at them. If Lynn were more aware of their ramifications for her actions. Lori, after clearing her eyes, then stood up from the air mattress. Lynn, what are you doing down here? Lori asked her younger sister. Lynn then put her phone back in her pocket. Oh, I was just up and just wanted to check on some game scores. That was until I saw this adorable sight right here, Lynn answered while holding back a small laugh. Lori then looked back at the mattress and then back at her sister. Why are you laughing? Lori almost asked before she cut herself off. Didn't want to register at first, but after a few seconds occurred to Lori why Lynn would think this scene was funny. Lori then looked down at Lynn with a worried look. Lynn, you don't understand. Lori managed to get out. Lynn gave Lori a skeptical look. Understand what? Dad Linky's got scared and needs his big sisters to stay for them for the night? Lynn responded in a mocking tone, letting out a small, smug laugh. Lori clenched her fists and gave Lynn an angry scowl. Lynn Loud, Jr., Lori let out. Lynn then stopped her laughing and gave her full attention to her older sister. Lori walked over to Lynn and looked down at her. That is not what is happening, and don't make fun of your brother, Lori said as she scolded Lynn. Lynn then put her hands up in defense. Hey, I'm just joking, Lynn defended. Lori folded her arms. Well, before you start taking shots, you should literally know the whole story, Lori responded. Lynn then put her hands down and with an annoyed look just formed on her face. Geez, Lori, you never get this upset when I tease Stinkin'. Is it your time of the month for something? Lynn mockingly asked her older sister. Lori's eyes went wide. First of all, that is none of your business, but it's not the time for me. And second, this was mine and Luna's idea, Lori said as she raised her voice to Lynn. Lynn then gave Lori a confused look. What do you mean it's yours and Luna's idea? Lynn asked. Unfortunately for Lynn and Lori, the volume of their conversation had increased, and this wasn't going to go unnoticed. That all had startled Luna and Lincoln enough to wake up from their deep slumber. Luna was the first one to wake up. When her two eyes finally focused and she noticed Lori glaring at Lynn with anger, and Lynn staring and looking at Lori with a bewildered look on her face, Lincoln had rolled over out of Luna's embrace and began rubbing his eyes to get all the sleep out of them. When his eyes finally adjusted, he noticed that Lori and Lynn standing over him and Luna. Lincoln then turned his head towards Luna. What's going on, Luna? Lincoln asked his older sister. Luna then stood up and looked at Lincoln. I don't know, bro, but I'm gonna find out, Luna answered with a determined look. Luna then stood up from the mattress and stepped closer to Lori. Hey, dudes, what's going on here? Luna asked Lori and Lynn. Lori then turned to Luna. Well, I was asleep, and Lynn decided she would take the opportunity to poke a fun out of Lincoln, Lori explained. Lynn just looked towards Luna. I was just joking, Lynn said in defense. Luna then stepped in between her sisters and put her arms up to separate them. Whoa, dudes, let's just start from the beginning. Lori, what did LJ do? Luna asked her older sister. Well, Lori tried to answer Luna's question, but it occurred to her that she absolutely had no idea what Lynn had done. She heard a loud noise and thought that the flash of the light was something from her sleeping, but other than that, she didn't know what it was what Lynn Jr. had done. I literally have no idea. I heard something that woke me up, and I opened my eyes, and Lynn was just standing there over us, Lori answered. Luna then looked over at Lynn. Okay, LJ, what were you doing that woke Lori up? Luna asked her younger sister. Lynn then reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone. I came downstairs and came to check on some game scores, and I noticed that you guys were on air mattresses, Lynn answered. Luna gave Lynn a skeptical look. Go on, Luna instructed her sister. Lynn then looked down at her phone. When I saw you guys sleeping, I decided to take a picture, Lynn continued. Luna then looked at Lynn. And what were you going to do with that picture? Luna asked. Lynn looked down at the floor. I was just going to use it to joke around with Lincoln, Lynn answered. Luna folded her arms. You mean you were going to make fun of him? Luna corrected Lynn. Lynn let out a sigh. Yeah, but I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just going to delete it. Honest, Lynn responded. Luna then looked back at Lori, and the two exchanged looks. Well, I think you should delete it now, dude, Luna instructed. Lynn let out another sigh. Okay, Lynn responded. Lynn then unlocked her phone and scrolled over to her saved photos. Once she was in her photo library, she located her most recent photo, one of Lincoln, Luna, and Lori, all sleeping, and deleted it. Lynn then looked back at Luna. Okay, I trashed it, Lynn responded. Luna then reached out and placed her hand on Lynn's shoulder. Good, thanks, sis. I know you didn't mean any harm of it, but right now it isn't the best time for joking around, Luna exclaimed. Lynn then gave Luna a curious look. Did something happen? Lynn asked. Luna then looked back at Lori, who gave her a concerned look. Well, yes, but it's kind of hard to explain, Luna answered as she looked back at Lynn. Lynn looked at Lori. What is she talking about, Lori? Lynn asked. Lori looked over at Lincoln, who put his head down and started rubbing his arm. It's not easy to say, Lori explained. Lynn then looked back at Luna. Guys, you're starting to worry me. What's going on? Lynn asked more forcibly. It's about me, Lincoln's answer said. All three of the sisters turned to him. Lincoln, you don't have to right now, Lori exclaimed. Have to do what right now? Lynn asked more frantically. Lincoln looked up at Lynn. Something happened at school yesterday, Lincoln expressed. Lynn then looked over at Lincoln. What happened? Lynn asked. Miss Johnson made me stay after school to retake a test, but I didn't end up taking a test, Lincoln explained. Lynn developed a concerned look on her face. Then what happened, Lincoln? Lynn asked. Lincoln then looked down on the floor. He wanted to answer his sister, but it was still painful to recall everything that happened. Lori was able to pick up on this. Maybe we should wait for the rest of the family to get up, Lori suggested. Lincoln, what happened? Lynn demanded, as she was starting to move towards Lincoln. Luna interrupts Lynn. Now, dude, just calm down for a second. Lincoln will tell you what happened, but he's gonna do it with all of us, Luna explained. Lynn looked up angrily at Luna. What happened? Lynn asked once more. It didn't appear that Lynn was going to let this go anytime soon, but Lori was able to make a quick feint. Lori walked over to the crouch to meet Lynn's eyes. Lynn, look at me, Lori instructed. Lynn didn't turn her head to meet Lori's. I just want to know what happened to Lincoln, Lynn demanded. Lori gave Lynn a serious look. Lincoln is going to tell you, and when he is going to tell you and the rest of our sisters. We are going to wait until after breakfast, but right now seems to be a good time as any to go wake up Lenny, and you two nicely wake up everyone else upstairs. Me and Luna will wake Mom and Dad, Lori instructed. Lynn gave Lori a fierce look. I want to know now, Lynn responded. Lori then stood up and gave Lynn a fiercer look. Lincoln will tell you when everyone else is downstairs. Now go get our sisters, Lori commanded. Lynn was about to continue to her protest until she got a closer look at Lori's face and realized that Lori wasn't going to budge her decision, so she let out a sigh in defeat and made her way upstairs to fetch the rest of her siblings. Lori let out a sigh in relief and she looked up at Luna, who was still struggling with a response. They knew that Lynn would soon give him some resistance, but they finally let out all hope that this one time she would go along with her and telling her. Lori looked down and saw Lincoln sitting on the mattress with his head down. Everything had just happened that stressed Lincoln out even more than he already was. Lori knows it stressed the hell out of her, but they were going to have more of this right now because the more stress was on the way. Lori decided to go ahead and prolong the inevitable and wake up her parents. Hopefully they wouldn't be too upset. Given the circumstances, this is something that needed to be done sooner rather than later. Lori then looked over at Luna. I'm gonna go wake Mom and Dad up. You and Lincoln wait on the couch for the rest of us, Lori instructed, to which Luna nodded and went over to the mattress to check on Lincoln. Lori walked over to the parents' bedroom door and opened it slightly. When she peeked in, she could see her parents were still asleep. Wow, I literally thought we would have woken them up. They weren't really very quiet, Lori thought to herself. Lori opened the bedroom door just enough to sneak her parents' bedroom and crept over her way to the closest side of the bed, which happened to be her mother's side, and lightly tapped her mother on the arm. Rita took in a deep breath and rolled down towards Lori, blinking a few times just to wake her eyes up. She focused on her daughter and gave her a soft smile. Morning, honey, Rita responded to her daughter. Lori then gave her mom a shy smile. And then said, Morning, Mom. I know it's very early, but we do this after breakfast, but we're going to have to talk with the rest of the girls sooner than we thought, Lori told her mother. Rita slowly sat up and hung her legs off the edge of the bed. Wait, what's going on, Lori? Rita asked as she continued to wake herself up. Lori sighed. Long story short, Lynn came downstairs earlier, and now she wants to know what happened to Lincoln yesterday, Lori answered. Rita let out a long yawn and said, like a semi-truck going at full speed, reality hit her. How much does she know? Rita asked worriedly. Lori then looked at her mom. Only something that happened to Lincoln. Nothing specific, Lori answered. Rita let out a sigh and lowered her head. I guess sooner and then better than later it is. I'll get your father up. And you go and wait with your sisters and Lincoln and make sure they stay calm, Rita instructed her eldest sister. Lori nodded and made her way back to the living room. When she entered the living room, she all noticed that all the siblings were downstairs on the couch, talking amongst themselves, and mainly the younger ones, complaining about being up this early on Saturday. Lori steered in her nerves and walked over to the front of the couch to face everyone. She could tell that there was an irritable and they were still tired, but this was important. More important than anything they would have experienced. Once Lori was in front of her siblings, she noticed her parents leaving the bedroom not long after. She expected her dad to look more tired than he was, but if he could see him, he looked like he hadn't been sleeping at all. By the looks of it, all was the time. Lori had clapped her hands together to get her siblings' attention. Guys, I need you to quiet down, Lori instructed. All the loud children focused on the eldest. Okay, I'm sure you guys are all literally wondering why you're down here this early, Lori pointed out. Lola was the first to speak up. Well, duh, Lori, it's Saturday. Why on earth did you have Lynn wake us up? Lola asked in annoyance. Lenny was next to speak. Yeah, like the sun isn't even awake yet. Lori, Lenny added. It's about Lincoln, Lynn added abruptly. Everyone turned their head to the center of the couch. What does the only male sibling have to do with all the sudden obnoxious of our slumber? Lisa inquired. Lynn then stood up and walked over to Lori. Something happened to him yesterday at school, Lynn stated. All the girls' loud gasped. Sans Lori, Luna, and Lynn gasped. Wait, what happened to Link? Luann asked. Lori then looked down at Lynn. Well, I was very hoping to ease into everything, but since Lynn has decided to take the wheel of the conversation, we may just have to tell them, Lori said. Lenny developed a confused look on her face. How couldn't a conversation have wheels? Lenny asked out loud. Ignoring Lenny's question, everyone turned towards Lincoln. What happened, big bro? Lana asked, very concerned. Lincoln then looked down, away from everyone's eyes. Lincoln tried to get it out. Luna wrapped her arm around Lincoln, and Lincoln looked up to her. It's okay, bro. You can just do it. Just like you did with me and Lori. We're all here for you, Luna reassured her brother. Lincoln gave Luna a soft smile and took a deep breath. I was attacked at school,